Happy Wednesday. All right, so today really is our day to get the vast majority of our essay done. You've come into class with your introduction typed. You have a thesis at the end of your introduction. You've double checked that your introduction is general background information, that your thesis has specifically stated two British actions and the colonial reaction. You have your planning page all set up. So let's look at this sample of a good body paragraph so you have a model for when you go to type your body paragraphs. You were asked to circle the topic sentence. So when we look at this sample body paragraph, what we see, and it's no surprise, is that the topic sentence is the first sentence of the paragraph. So it's right here. The Sugar Act, passed in 1764, caused the colonists to protest, which eventually led to the American Revolution. So what we see in this topic sentence, we are telling the reader that the British action, which helped cause the American Revolution, is the Sugar Act, and we are telling them that the colonists reacted by protesting. So this topic sentence lets the reader know exactly what is coming. You are then asked to put a star next to the sentences which explain the causes or British actions. So a star. All right. The British passed the Sugar Act in an attempt to encourage colonists to pay their taxes and raise money. That is a British action. While the Sugar Act reduced import taxes on molasses purchased from Great Britain, it increased import taxes. That is a British action. Parliament believed that the colonists would be willing to follow the law, paying the lower tax. That is a British action. The colonists, used to being ignored, often smuggled to avoid paying the tax. Now we're into colonial. So for the British, there are three sentences which describe the British action of passing the Sugar Act. Now you're asked to put a triangle next to sentences which explains the colonial reaction. The colonists, used to being ignored, often smuggled, there's a colonial reaction, to avoid paying the tax. Since Parliament had not passed and enforced laws for the colonies, they, meaning the colonists, did not believe that Parliament had the right to tax them. Colonial reaction. Many colonists justified their protest with the statement of no taxation without representation. Colonial reaction. Basically, the colonists did not believe that Parliament had the right to tax them because they, the colonists, did not have the right to elect members to Parliament. Although it would not be stated until 1772, Samuel Adams argued that all men had natural liberties, including liberty and property. Definitely a colonial reaction. He's stating why they're protesting. He believed that Parliament taxing the colonies without their consent took away their natural rights to liberty and property. Colonial reaction. So when we look, we have 6 sentences describing the colonial reaction. Now you were asked to underline the 2 sentences which took facts from the documents, and there's actually 3 here. We know they took facts from the documents because at the end of the sentence, there's a doc 3. So this sentence came from a document. This sentence came from a document. And this sentence came from a document. We know these came from a document because they told us so right here at the end. This is the only acceptable way to cite something from a document. You may not have in your paragraph something that looks like in document 3, it says, if you have that, I am going to take my big marker and I am going to cross it off, and I'm going to ask you to come in for lunch detention so that you can fix all of these. You have been clearly told you may not write in document 3 it says. You may not write the document states. You may not write the chart shows. The only way you may reference a document is at the end of a sentence. You've used a fact from the document. You're going to put period document 3. That is the only acceptable way. Do not have to come in during lunch to correct this. The other important thing to note is that after I used a fact from the document, so here, while the Sugar Act reduced import taxes on molasses purchased from Great Britain, it increased import taxes on sugar purchased from other nations. I don't just leave it at that. I go on here to explain what is going on. I explain that Parliament believed the colonies would be willing to follow the law by paying the lower tax. Down here, I state no taxation without representation, but then I explain what that means. I tell you Sam Adams said they had these rights. I explain why that is important. That explanation piece is very important to proving your understanding and proving that you can analyze and connect the documents to a bigger concept. Additionally, note that most of these, like this one, and this one, I summarize facts from the documents, or I just pull facts from the documents. They're not direct quotes. I wrote it in my own words so that it fits within the general idea of my paragraph. This is the only one I used quotations on, the only one I copied word for word. And the only reason I did that is this phrase, no taxation without representation, is such an important phrase. It would have been silly for me to try and rephrase it. So now you have a sample of what a good paragraph should look like. Okay, you are ready to get to work. So what you need on your desk is your Chromebook. You need your Chromebook open to your essay that you've already started. You need your document packet, and you need your essay directions packet, which has your planning page in it. Nothing else may be on your desk while you are taking this assessment. You may not talk to anyone else while you're taking this assessment. You may not navigate on your computer to any other page other than your Google Doc where you're typing your assessment. By the end of class, you must have an intro with a thesis that should be done by the time you walked in today. You must have typed body paragraph 1 that discusses one cause, one British action, and the colonial reaction. Body paragraph 2, which discusses another cause and the colonial reaction. That is the minimum acceptable for today. Minimum. Realistically, you should also edit your document. So if you finish the intro with the thesis, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, to edit, pick up the editing sheet from the round table in the front of the room and edit your document. If you finish that too, you are a speed demon. You are super fast. You can go into your document and you can type your conclusion. For your conclusion, basically all you need to do is restate your thesis and then summarize each paragraph in 1 to 2 sentences. And finally, my super speed demons who finish even step 3, everybody has homework tonight that has nothing to do with your essay, because remember, your essay is going to be done. At least your beginning paragraphs are. Your intro, your body paragraph, and your body paragraph 2 are going to be done by the end of class. Your homework is the article that is up on the round table, advantages and disadvantages. It looks like this. You are going to read about the British strengths and weaknesses, their army. You're going to read about the American strengths and weaknesses. And then you're going to fill in the chart on the back using bullet points. What are the British advantages, disadvantages? What are the colonial ones? And then based on the chart above, who do you think should win the war at that point and why? We all know the colonists win the war, but based on the information you see in the chart, who do you believe should win the war and why? That is your work for today. It is your responsibility to stay on track. It is your responsibility to make sure you pick up the editing sheet. It is your responsibility to make sure you write down and pick up a copy of your homework to do tonight. I will be popping in and out of the documents all day to see what you have done. Stay focused, stay on track, and everything will be great. Have a good day. If you need to see that to-do list one more time, it will be written on the front right board for you where I normally hang up all the papers.